It's a miracle. Okay, so welcome to Ron's Workbench. In this episode, we're going to build bar mills scale, the Miracle Chair Company. This structure is from Bar Mills Basics kit line. It is a very easy structure to build and a good first building to attempt. One warning, it does not come with a lot of strip wood, so you will need to supply some strip wood to use for bracing of the building. So I've gone ahead and I have installed the corner molding and getting ready to complete the next portion, which will be to paint. If you've been in model railroading for any amount of time, you may remember the late Earl Smallshaw's many articles that he did for the railroading magazines. One of them showed his factory, the Miracle Chair Company. And this is where Bar Mills came up with this idea as a tribute to a very great modeler. And the whole joke of this model was on the side of the brick building was a sign that said, Miracle Chair Company. If it's a good chair, it's a miracle. So I did go through and I took a hobby knife and I did rough up a little of the siding, and I did go through with a razor and go underneath a few of the boards and lift up gently, giving it a slightly distressed look. This building is not going to be as heavily weathered. I want it to look semi-kept up, functioning and working. I did, however, right in here, I don't know if it's going to come out too well with the lighting, but I did distress this area. And if you look at the picture that we're going to be following, right in here is where the dust collector will sit. And I went through and I distressed the area in here to make it look as though it's beat up and weathered from the dust collector being there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to paint it. Blues are tough, so I found this. We're going to try this. It's a matte cloudless blue. Going to take this, we're going to paint it, see how it looks. When I go to paint, I'm actually going to be doing almost like a dry brush on it, because I really do not want to get a lot of paint on this. It's a very, very small model. If you can see your dimensions on here, let me turn around so you can see it. I mean, it's basically going to be only, I think it's 1.5 inches by 3.5 inches, or 3 inches. It is a very, it's a very tiny model. Mostly it looks like it's for a background. And again, it's a basics. It's not a lot there, but it gives you a good starting point. You could really kit bash the heck out of this. In fact, this may just be the beginning of this whole build. I've been kicking around and contemplating. We'll see how things go. I was looking at floss scale models for some extra clapboard siding, and also looking at KCU's workshops for some of their brick siding. I'm contemplating putting an addition onto this with either a raised walkway coming off the back of the model. And you can see here, and there's really nothing on the back of the model. You know, that's why it leads me to believe that it's a background kit, something that, you know, you're putting on it, your layout for the joke, you know, that if it's a good chair, it's a miracle. Again, with it being a basic, it is very basic instructions. You need to have some kit building experience in this. And these are the kind of models you want to use to get that experience. You want to learn how to brace a building, how to take it, how to realize that as you're painting, the pieces are going to warp. We're working with thin wood, so as I paint this way, it's going to want to tend to warp in that direction. So we put the bracing on the direction of the warpage. So in other words, if it's going to curl this way or this way, we take our bracing and we go this way. Now normally, like I showed on the KC's workshops model that I made, I would frame the back out. On this, I chose not to. We're just going to see how it goes. I may, depending when it comes down to the roof, after I paint this, I may come back through and do some bracing along the roof line of the back of the model. And I mean, take a look at this piece. How small. This is a fragile piece. Could easily break it. It'll easily warp. So again, you want to make sure that you have your wood properly braced. And so, like I said before, it's a very basic model. They assume that you have that basic modeling skills and knowledge. And to be honest, all I did was I had some wood strips, and I just took a razor blade and my chopper, and I actually, all I did, and I'll give you an example here. So I took the chopper, I set it up, I put in a little cut fence, and laid the piece of strip wood in, made a small cut, and then just took the wood and I just split it, and I was able to make my bracing. You know, you're not going to see this. I'm not building this for an interior detail in mind. Had I wanted to do that, yeah, I would have gotten some scale lumber and braced it out to, you know, make it look pretty inside, but you're not going to see the inside of this model. So just using some straight homemade cut strip wood is fine. So there's a tip. There's an easy way for you to make strips of bracing if you need it. Also, once this is all done, I will take this wood that we have here, all this additional wood that I used and cut, and I'll go through this with the chopper, and I will clean some of this up, and we'll use this for some details around the model itself to show used wood or wood that they're bringing in to work with, you know, or scrap woods that they're getting rid of. So this is where we're at. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to paint the model. So at this point, I'm going to end this episode and we'll pick up next week with painting and assembling of the Miracle Chair Company. See you later. Thanks for watching Ron's Workbench. If you like what you're seeing here, please subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to be notified next time I upload a video. I always appreciate a thumbs up, and if you have any comments or questions, please list them in the comment section below this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week on episode 9 of Ron's Workbench. On the next episode of Ron's Workbench, we'll put on some paint and we'll build ourselves some windows. Next week on Ron's Workbench.